All right, we're live.
Hey, it's Coffee and Crypto, and I am Nick, and we got Rob here as well. We're going to go through a little bit of a market update with the crypto markets and what has been happening over the last couple weeks, and also give some market predictions for 2023. So, Rob, you want to kick us off with some of the news that we've been seeing the past week or two that has affected the markets?
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about the last 1 to 2 weeks. Why don't you pull up a chart, Nick? I'm looking at a chart on my phone right now. You can pull it up on the screen, and we can kind of talk through what happened here.
All right, let me share my screen.
So at the time of this recording, Bitcoin is currently $16,800. And we got Nick pulling up a chart here.
Can you see?
Yes. Okay. So go to a shorter time frame.
Yeah, I'm on like a monthly
on 12/14, so on December 14th, we had that big run up. Not a massive run up, but a nice little fair market rally going.
Yeah, you're talking about like right here, December 14th. Yeah, we went from like 17,000 to 18.2.
Yeah, so we were running up to that like a couple days going into that. That was the FOMC meeting. Jerome Powell had his meeting, gave his statements. So just, another monthly meeting talking about inflation, interest rates, projections going forward. So things pumped before that, and then there was a big sell-off afterwards, which was expected. It was just kind of like buy the rumor, sell the news type of thing. And then after that, we had a sell-off, and we've just been consolidating sideways here. Would you call that a bear flag, bull flag? What does that look like to you, Nick, on that sell-off and where we are now?
I mean, everything that's happened, I'm going back into like November after the sell-off from SBF. This looks like Wyckoff accumulation. I don't know if you're familiar with that term, Wyckoff accumulation. It typically happens like after a major sell-off and crash, and typically happens at the bottom of the bear market. It just looks like this zigzag pattern. Sometimes you'll get another capitulative movement before we start headed higher, but it just looks like accumulation at this point at the bottom. And these things can just grind on for months until the last of the optimism is out of the market, and then the market will finally turn higher and just catch everyone off guard.
Yeah, so for a good perspective to have for our viewers is just zoom in a little bit more, Nick.
Like right here.
So if you look at where we are, if you're just looking at this from a long-term investment standpoint, it's kind of boring. Like if you were to buy now, or if you were to buy at 18,000 Bitcoin or 15,000, it's not going to make that much of a difference. So if you have a longer-term time frame, you like now is a really good time to dollar cost average in, because how much lower can it go? 12,000.
I mean, like the major support, if we do have a capitulation here, I think 14,000, like anywhere from like 13 to 14,000, there's some major support there.
Yeah.
Even if you go ahead,
where this is really relevant, like the zoomed in charts of where we are now, is if you're trading on a weekly basis. So that run up we had to 18,000. If you're day trading, you could have got in on a good pump, or if you shorted the top of that, which I traded that whole run up, and I entered in. What was the top of that run up there, Nick?
Yeah, like 18.4, 18.3 something.
Yeah, so I got in on a short at 18.3, 18,300, and that was like perfectly at the top. So if you're day trading or trading on a short-term time frame, like zooming in on the charts is more relevant. Otherwise, if you have a longer-term outlook, just dollar cost average. But that's pretty much the charts. If you're day trading, just look for setups where you're, buy low, sell high. It's pretty much, like that. But it's obviously a little bit more complicated. You got to know yourself when you're trading. But
yeah, and also if you have a longer term perspective, like 1 to 2 years out, I can't say for certain because anything can happen. Like if we're headed into the next Great Depression, I'd say this, but 1 year from today, I can almost, at least I feel we're going to be higher than 16,800, and I think significantly higher. Like talking about like next December. And if we're talking 2 years out, I can almost put 100% guarantee that it's gonna. I mean, I can't say that. Do your own research, but based on historically what's happened in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, 2 years from here, where this looks like almost the near bottom of the bear market, we're gonna be at least double, triple, maybe even higher of where we are right now. You just have to have the patience to not be leverage trading these bottoms. If you're highly leveraged trading right now and you get wiped out right before we make a massive run, you're going to be kicking yourself a year or two from now.
Gonna have what they call balls of steel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even trading at this point right now. Some of the prices on these altcoins are so low. I am just accumulating on any sell-offs and throwing them in cold storage and just wait. I'm gonna wait out the next year or two.
Yeah,
because I don't want to get caught like getting wrecked on another trade like I did with the SBF thing.
yeah, I'm just having fun day trading the volatility. You know, small percentage gains. You know.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. It's always fun to be day trading and short term trading. But I wouldn't recommend it a large percentage of any of our viewers' accounts to be doing that. If you really want to make the big money going into this next bull run, it would be wise to accumulate some of your favorite altcoins and just set it, like, just turn your computer off and don't look at the chart. Come back 2 years later and you're going to be very happy.
Yeah, the day trading stuff is for fun. It's a very small percentage of the overall account. But don't we have in-depth, in detail course teaching on how to do exactly just that, Nick? How to buy altcoins, accumulate, and make big money with crypto, where you're basically, you know, getting into good projects and like in time like now.
We've got a course, a beginner's guide to crypto, that we put together that kind of, it goes through, and definitely in more detail than everything I just explained, how to tell what part of the market cycle you're in, what to look for in different types of altcoins to accumulate, how to set up cold storage, and just basically the mindset of how I became a multimillionaire in the last bull run. It definitely goes through all those details and will explain everything. It's called the Beginner's Guide to Crypto. And
no, that's the ultimate guide. We have the Beginner's Guide, which is our free guide. And then we have,
I'm sorry, Rob, I mixed up the name. We do have a free Beginner's Guide to Crypto that we do. We're going to put a link in the description below, but we also have the Ultimate Guide, which goes into much more detail. It's like a 25 video course where we explain in detail and in depth how I became a millionaire in the last bull run.
Yep, that's exactly a blueprint, a strategy for getting into crypto, investing into the right projects, how to read the charts, you know, all the technical details of the nitty gritty of, you know, getting into crypto and investing on a longer term time frame. But let's talk about some news quick, and then we can give our official predictions. So nothing's really happened besides what we just mentioned with the FOMC meeting and, you know, interest rates and all that stuff. So nothing really new has changed on that front. But what was interesting was, so, you know, anyone who's following crypto or financial markets knows about the whole FTX blow up. And then Sam Bankman-Fried, he finally got arrested, and they put him in prison in the Bahamas. And apparently he only lasted like 2 or 3 days in prison, because supposedly the Bahamian prison is like one of the top 5 worst prisons in the world. And he was giving all these special requests, like, you know, that he needs to eat vegan food and take his medications at certain times, and, you know, all this crazy stuff. So I guess he couldn't take it any longer, and he requested to be extradited to the U.S. So he got extradited, and I think he got extradited to New York, and that's where they, you know, I'm not too familiar with how the whole legal process works, but I guess he got arraigned, or, you know, whatever the process is before a judge, and they determined that they would allow him to be let go on bail. You know how much his bail was?
$50 million.
What's that?
250 million.
Yeah, 250 million. And recently, before he got arrested, he was going out on Twitter Spaces, on interviews, and he was like, "Yeah, like I only have $100,000 left to my name right now. I basically have nothing." And first of all, $100,000 is not nothing. But anyway, he was saying how he has nothing after this whole FTX thing, and he posted the bill, $250 million. So where does that money come from? It's got to be the user funds from FTX that they just absolutely blew up and probably were hiding in different wallets somewhere. You don't just come up with $250 million just overnight.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of people were talking about that, but it was pretty crazy. So yeah, he posted bail, and we'll see what happens. I think some of the details were, though, that he had to surrender his passport and agree to do house arrest in order to post that bail. So we'll see. This is going to take years to unfold, and it's a whole process with bankruptcy and recovering funds and whatnot. But definitely did a lot of damage, to users and the crypto market. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, we're both bullish on the long term. So let's give our predictions for 2023. What do you think, Nick? Bullish, bearish?
I mean, looking at the time frame of how long these bear markets typically last, it's normally, well, what was the last one? The last one went from the end, like the beginning of 2018, all the way until like 2020. So it was like a 2-year bear market. So if we're looking at another 2-year bear market from the peak, which was what, April 2021, what are we looking at? April 2023. So we could grind out here for another 3 or 4 months. We got the halving coming up next year as well. So those two things coming together could send us on another bull run. But it's also, there's some uncertainty I see with the Fed still tightening. We haven't really had a tightening Fed for the entire time that Bitcoin has been around. So it's really hard to say what is going to happen. And also, the magnitude of each Bitcoin bull run has been smaller and smaller each time. I think a lot of the money has been flowing more into other projects. This last bull run, it was more Ethereum and NFTs. The next bull run, I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe other layer 2, layer 3 blockchains. So yeah, I could see us, if history repeats itself, another 2 to 3, maybe 4 months of bearish, just kind of Wyckoff accumulation, and then making a nice run into the end of 2023. I could see Bitcoin at least double where it is right now, so 30 to 40,000 at the end of 2023, easy.
So with the halving, for the viewers that don't really understand what that means, what can they expect, or what has typically happened over Bitcoin's history when a halving has happened, or around that time frame a halving has happened?
That is a good question, Rob. I'm looking up, when was the last Bitcoin halving? Oh, I misspoke. It's not actually until 2024. Okay. April 2024. We're still a year and 3 months away from a halving. I'm trying to look and see when the last halving was. Do you
Usually,
remember?
yeah,
Do you remember
I
when
don't know the
the
exact
last
date,
was?
but usually around the halving, there is a increase in price because the halving basically cuts the supply. So when there's
Yeah,
less supply, there's
it
more
cuts the
demand.
amount that's being distributed for, like, each mining reward When it first started out, it was like 100 Bitcoins. And then when the first halving happened, it went to 50 Bitcoins and then 25 and then 12 and a half. I think we're at like 6.125 right now. So the next halving is going to take us down to 3 and 1/16 Bitcoins. I'm just looking it up on the fly right now. See when the Bitcoin halving schedule is.
While you're doing that, I'll give my predictions.
All right, go for it.
For 2023. We're pretty low right now relative to where we were. I think a lot of the leverage has gotten shaken out. When I say leverage, I mean like the whole Luna situation, FTX. So that's good because that was really affecting the markets and propping things up. So I think we got a lot of the leverage out, but unfortunately, we're in a time of restrictive monetary policy and interest rates and inflation. So I think we do have lower to go. I think 2023 we will find a bottom somewhere. I don't see us recovering back up to the $40,000 range in 2023. In my opinion, I think we go lower, we find the bottom, and then we probably trade sideways because there's still so much. Like we have so much room to go to get inflation down to the target of 2%, and until that happens, the Fed's not going to pivot. So we're just taking more and more money out of the economy and taking liquidity out of the market. So I don't see us going up significantly. I don't see us above 20, 30,000 in my opinion. I see us going lower, whether that's a slow bleed down or some other capitulation event. But long term, I'm bullish. I know, from what I see and what I read and what I follow, the smartest people, the brightest people, the innovators, people who are leaving, big companies, big tech companies, they're all coming to work on crypto projects in crypto to build, to develop. So the smart people, the people with money to invest, they're coming in, they're getting in, they're building, and they're betting on it coming back. So even if 2023 is not a good year for crypto, it's a good time to be getting into the market because you and me both think it's going to come back, and a lot of smart people who are building businesses and have investment capital and are trendsetters are getting in too. So regardless whether 2023 is a good or bad year, it's still a good time to dollar cost average into the market and position yourself for the long term.
Dude, check this out. I found the Bitcoin halving schedule, and it matches with everything I just explained in the last 20 minutes.
All right, let's see it.
So check this out. Let me share my screen. Very interesting discovery here. You see this? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so each one of these dotted lines is the Bitcoin halving. This is a very long-term chart, and this is showing where we are. Actually, it's a few months back, but it looks like what I'm seeing on this chart, every time the halving happened, Bitcoin actually bottomed up to a year prior to the halving event. So this chart is kind of extrapolating out, showing the end of.
Okay, I see.
So it's showing the bottom coming in the next few months, and the next halving is not until March of 2024. But that would coincide with the bottom of the Bitcoin bear market happening about a year prior to the halving. So that's the way it's happened the last 1, 2, 3 times. So that's very interesting seeing this. Then this chart is showing Bitcoin all the way up at $176,000 at the end of 2023. So I don't know.
176?
Yeah, 170. So that's what that chart is showing, but I don't know if it's going to be that high, but
that's like a 10x from here.
Hard to believe, right? But it's happened 3 times before.
That's 10x. We're at 16,800. That's like that's a 10x.
Yeah, and look where we were at the bottom of the C19 debacle. It was down around 4,000 and went all the way to 60,000. That's a 15x. So 10x is not out of the question. I know it's like very difficult to believe, but once this
So
thing,
it's hard to comprehend when you're at the bottom to go 10x.
it's a whole psychological game, but it happens. I mean, some of the altcoins I was holding went 20, 25x, and I never thought they would go that high, and they did. So be patient, Rob. Accumulate.
That's why we're here, for those.
Accumulate and be patient.
Those sweet 10x gains.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. I think we'll wrap it up there, and then we got more content, more weekly content, more fun stuff planned, and we're looking forward to 2023 and beyond.
Yeah, for our viewers, just definitely like and subscribe to our channel so we can continue putting out content like this. And also check out our free Beginner's Guide to Crypto. We're going to post a link in the description below. And also just, yeah, this is not financial advice. Rob and I are not financial advisors. So do your own research before investing your hard-earned money. And that's it for Coffee and Crypto today.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Yep.